Welcome to Live from America podcast. This is Hatem alongside Noam Dworman, owner of the Comedy Cellar, good friend. Hello, Noam, driving.
Hello, Hatem.
And my very good friends, two of them. We have the one and only comedian Boris Khaykinn. Hello, Boris.
Hello.
And one of my favorites in the world, comedian Kurt Mohammed Metzger. Hello, Kurt.
Dude, that's my new that I recently took that name, inshallah.
I'm going Boris Habibi hiking.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Dude, do you know how because I forgot this is called live. Was it always called Live from America?
It was, yeah. Why? Does the word live bother you?
I didn't realize until just now. No, I thought it was called Noam and Hatem's Sword Nose Problems Show. No,
Live.
live.
You may have a big nose. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I do too. That's why I get pulled into these things.
I
Wait,
don't
but,
have a big nose.
yeah, the only one that don't belong is Noam's nose. This should be something me and Hatem hash out without Noam because his nose does not make the cut.
Yeah.
Wait, but it's so suspicious to see it's called Live from America and then Hatem is hilarious. You're like, welcome live from what propaganda from a foreign adversary is this?
Okay, fine. I'll change it. Live from the tunnel in America.
J as in jihad. Was it overthrowing your government? Anyway, go ahead.
Tell.
So let's start with you, Kurt. What happened in Seattle? So
what?
I know that what happened in Seattle with
apparently, dude.
show.
Okay,
Noam did interview the owners, by the way, of the club.
Oh my God, what a complete waste of your time. So okay, I posted that thing because Tommy sent the email because I never gotten a message like this ever. I'm like, and I read it and I was so Jimmy had a situation in Seattle with the same thing, and
Jimmy Dore?
Yeah, he's working with some dumbass fucking agent that I keep telling him to fire. It's unbelievable. Five times you can tell him the thing, but I don't know what it. Anyway, he goes, they were like overselling the venue, which is like illegal and dangerous, I think, where people had to stand, and then like, well, we don't know if we can have them. They try to pull some of that fucking jazz bullshit, dead woke shit on it, and so I thought it was the same thing. Okay, but it's a totally different thing. And I didn't even understand it affected me until like I had to read a little because it had Dave Smith's name on it. Because it's like a group canceling. And but again, didn't know I was booked there. Okay. I don't give a shit that they did that. However, if you still are doing this right now, because woke's dead. Let me tell you, however this ends up with both of your guys' peoples and your thing, woke's done. Whatever happens with Israel and everything else, woke is fucking dead. So what's going to happen, when I explain this, is just like in Glorious Bastards, when they didn't want the Nazis to blend back into society like they were never cancel pigs, we have to carve that symbol in their fucking head through mockery, not violence, obviously. You deserve my friend Steve Renazizi is made fun of to this day for lying about how many meters in proximity to 9/11 he was, really? And we joke about it. That's the punishment. It's a mockery. Like, Steve got punished worse than Dick fucking Cheney for his fucking lie. This chick, I don't know her. I don't give a shit that I'm not at a dumb club. I saw Capitol Hill, which is the home of the Chaz, which I guess, do people not remember how funny the Chaz is? Do you know
Very
the Chaz?
funny. Yeah.
I remember. Tell people.
Immediate murders.
Remember the Chaz. So I'm sitting here looking at this like, you own a business. And okay, also, again, I don't care, but that's why I don't really get.
Did they tell you why they canceled the show? So for people that listening,
she had put up a bunch of shit like how she was happy to do it. By the way, the whole email is like phony as shit. She took it all down. Now, again, I don't care if somebody made fun of her online. I don't believe she got any threats. Show them, bitch. I don't believe you. That's dead. That story where you try to Amber Heard your fucking all the assaults that were coming at you because someone pointed out what a sack of shit you are. That's done. That's done. It's done. Thank you, Libs of TikTok. That was a big help. Thank you. I guess Ukraine war failing. I don't know, but it's done.
No,
Shane hosted SNL the next week. Tits hosted SNL. That's how done this shit is. So I know in New York people still, and I don't know what it is. Like I get the only thing I contribute to is New York. I told you I met 3 people while I was there in my 20 years of being there. who all told me they were the first kid ever to be given like Prozac or like SSRI. I want to say Prozac. Like I was the first one to be get, and yes, they looked very Woody Allen-ish, even the chick. And 3 of them. And I don't know who's telling the truth. Any one of them could be telling the truth. They were the first ones the therapist put on those fucking brain pills. And by the way, don't work how they think they thought they did, and you shouldn't probably take them at all. First one. So that's a trust in big pharma, institutions and shit that in New York, once all the middle-class people, I guess, had to leave, because who fucking live there now besides illegal migrants and people doing okay in their New York dream job? Who else lives there? So now it's getting more institutional, and all those dumb. I'm going to be there for Gutfeld, and I'm sure he's going to want to talk about this non-issue. I'm going to be. They're still locked in that.
So Kurt, it doesn't bother you? Noam, Noam spoke to the owners. Let me ask Noam this: you spoke to the owners. You interviewed them?
See me there.
What's your thoughts on that?
Dude, I told Lewis, I go, dude, I know when you see this, you want to do something immature and child, or something, stupid and immature, and I want to support you. And please let me do that with you.
Noam, what's your thoughts?
Start the recording.
Oh my God, what happened, Hatem?
Okay, so set time.
Sure. I typed in Israel and then something happened. I don't know. Sorry.
Can I say a few things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number one, yes, Tits hosted SNL, but of course, Shane Gillis also hosted the week prior, which
That's
is,
right.
I think,
that's right.
That's
the biggest one. Yes, dude, that is so significant.
Yeah. Number one. Number two.
Yeah.
I thought I interviewed them, and they had me thinking that I felt sorry for them because they had tried to do something privately and they really weren't expecting the backlash and the
I
meanness.
know. They should.
However, since then I saw a video of Jess urging that somebody not be booked. And that disturbed me. It made me feel a little bit. I don't know all the facts behind that, so I don't want to get too far over my skis.
Here's a great rule. Here's a great rule of thumb, no, in case you are curious, because you're very fair and you don't like to jump to a thing. But it's kind of like what is El Salvador, where they rounded up all of MS-13 and put them in a goddamn futuristic Bitcoin prison.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I talked to people from there, okay? And Jimmy, a lot of lefties come on Jimmy's show, and they like that guy that did that. And
he's very popular,
yeah. And even though the Bitcoin thing didn't work out, that part really worked out. And so, what I would be concerned about, it was like, well, how do you know you're not just getting the wrong people? Because that seems to always happen. Well, luckily.
All right.
But hold on. No, finish your thought, though.
All right. The third thing I want to hear, the third thing I want to say is, as far as woke is broke, or go woke, go broke, Just for Laughs went out of business. The Montreal Comedy Festival went out of business.
No shit. Wait, what's that dude's name? He does a Bill Burr impression, and he's suing his agents for telling him Tyler. I want to say
Tyler Fisher. Yeah.
So he came on Jimmy's show, and he was talking about how his agent fucking openly said to him, "Yeah, you're white male. I can't do it." He goes, "Really? That's illegal to do." All these fucks have been doing it for the last 10 years. All of them. And people tell him, people go, "Don't sue them." Are you kidding? He wouldn't tell me who told him that, but I want to find out.
When I went to Montreal last summer, I was shocked at how woke it had become. I mean, I used to enjoy the various showcases in Montreal. This was excruciatingly unfunny from beginning to end. I think Liz, Esty, and I saw 4 shows. They were just awful because
obviously
not because the people there were woke, but because the people were there not chosen because they were funny. So I think
all
you're right.
The gigs are corporate gigs now. So what the woke was never a fucking word. I know people act like it was like, people try to defend that stupid. I didn't make that dumb shit up. People go, well, it used to mean something for the black community. I don't believe you. I never heard nobody black ever say that until Erykah Badu made a tweet about it one time. Then they picked it up like Me Too from Black Twitter and ran with it and made it a whole fucking thing. But that wasn't I'm sure there was some dashiki wearing fucking, African studies in the 70s guy that said it, but nobody gives a shit about that. That was so people,
Well, wait, there was the end of first of all, it sounds black. Second of all, there was the end of that Spike Lee movie where he says, "Wake up!" Remember that? The end of the
sure, that I do remember that.
Yeah. So you
was telling the truth.
That. Yeah. So the concept of being awoken, I think, was in the culture. But it doesn't matter who.
No, okay. But let's say it was. Hold on. I'm willing to say, okay, I never heard that, but I know what you mean by it. Here's what that meant. If it even was used as a word, the thing that they're calling it, what it was you believed conspiracy theories is what it meant to be woke. It meant you didn't think we went to the moon, and you didn't think Osama bin Laden was a fucking, everything that now weirdly is like your Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones, I can't even call him that. But you're like Owen Benjamin territories. Everything now like that is a white guy, but it used to be. I saw Owen say he didn't believe in the moon. I still can't get over that. He said he's a moon denier, like not the landing. The moon.
I think Rogan. Oh, he doesn't believe the actual moon exists.
Yeah, that's why I clarified, because you go, oh, the moon landing. No, not the moon landing. The moon itself. I mean, take that, black guys. Hey, you think you got a conspiracy? Take that.
I guess that would also mean the moon land.
Yeah. No.
So hold on, because I do have a lot of topics and I want to have everybody.
But fuck that club and fuck the chick. I don't care. I was just laughing about a thing because you should look. Don't ever keep that private. Me too. Okay. Here's what great thing happening now. Everybody's not keeping this kind of shit private, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't, because that's how these people are going to blend back into society, and then we're going to have to root them out like ticks again, like the ticks. I don't even blame them. It's higher up.
I got to tell you something. So they came to listen. Sincerely and honestly, these were very nice people in the way they interacted. Neither here nor there.
They're called
I just want to say that. So I don't think so. Anyway, listen. People are complex. They can be nice and also enthralled by crazy ideas. Whatever. I mean, Kurt, you was your Jehovah's Witness. You understand what I'm saying? So
nothing in Jehovah's Witnesses was approaching the level of crazy of the Chaz area. Not one bit of it. I can't point to one.
You need a blood transfusion. Okay, but listen.
We didn't get AIDS. A lot of people got AIDS from that. We didn't.
All right, listen.
It turned out pretty good for us.
Listen, they came to the olive tree, and I was nice with them and everything. And I said, "You want to come see a show?" Like, yeah. Who's on the lineup? I said, "No." I said, "Oh, Andrew Schultz." Like, Andrew Schultz.
You did a great thing, dude. With what's that stupid guy? That Shrek-looking fucking gay dude. And you said, "Hey, do you want to do a spot?" And he was like,
Guy Branum.
And he wanted to. He wanted to, but he was like, "Oh, he had sensed there was a trap through his mole on his."
So for your point,
and when is Jimmy Dore going to do an event at the cellar? He keeps promising. I'm
talking to him tonight. No, I'm to tell him about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So being woke, he said it's dead. Boris, you think it's dead? And then we're gonna move to the next topic because we have Trump people. We have a lot of things to talk about.
It died October 7th for the record.
I think it's a fad, but there's going to be a new stupid thing, right? Those people aren't just going to be rational now.
No, they're going to try to pretend like they didn't like this the whole time. In fact, let me say the most batshit thing in the world. This is why I hate goddamn Jimmy show, because 3 days a week, every day is like the end of Chinatown for me, where it's like, come on, let's go. It's Chinatown. That's the feeling I have 3 days out of the week.
Boris, what do you think?
As far as what? As far as the ending of Chinatown?
No, that feeling, like, dude, I watch MSNBC connect to the dumbest internet fake shit. So and it's all to try to like censor you. It's wild. And so people are really into their own little bubbles of what they like. But you got to look at all of it, because they all are connected and they all get used to like just take rights away from you. So MSNBC had some trans Twitch streamer Keffels. It's the craziest story I've ever seen. They made this whole fake thing about this trans woman's being harassed and whatever. And now it finally came out, and I already knew this ahead of time. This chick ran a bathtub hormone thing to send to kids with a package that says "keep out of the reach of parents," I don't even know how you make bathtub estrogen. It's so shocking. I haven't even tried to understand how that works. But that's MSNBC Ben Carson, a guy who's at the Twitter file hearings, again, which is a huge thing that they have people deployed to censor you at every level of social media. Nobody gave a shit about. You got this chick that caved, who's running a business. You have to at least, all I did was say, this is hilarious. I can't wait to make fun of it. And then I go, I'm just going to do it on pussies. Fox, I guess, that sack of shit Jesse Waters ran. People contacted me to run stories. I was like, I called one radio station in Seattle because I want to play Tacoma Station because I felt my fans there. I'm like, I should tell the Seattle radio station, and I don't care about it. And, dude, all these stations, why would they be talking about this lame-ass Seattle club at all with all the, World War III shit going on and the fucking bum rush at the border that is a real thing that you must be seeing now in New York?
Yeah, well,
this is nonsense.
Kurt, you know the answer, I believe, but I'll say it anyway, because it's a business, and they knew that this would be a story that people would be interested in, as they were, and that's how I mean, in the end, that they're in business to be watched. And
that's right. That's right. And also they have to fucking try to suppress shit that isn't their fucking dumb shit monopoly, right? Because that's why these news stations suck. They all got combined from that FCC, whatever Clinton did. Thanks, Bill. Letting them get all big, like there's 6 media companies now. That's why they suck, and they like to be in lockstep and control. And they do the same shit to any new media. And I'll bet you've heard dozens of stories about some evil motherfucker online who's whatever, and you believe, and none of it's true.
Let's
shocking
because I do have 5 other topics I want to talk to about, and I want to get your crazy opinions about it, people. All right, so the first one: National Guard troops sent to NYC subway. Boris, let's start with you since you haven't sent anything in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a huge waste of money. Looking at it, it looks like a fucking police state. I don't know who they're they did it because somebody. Well, they did it because somebody like slashed the conductor in the face, which I don't know how you catch that by checking people's bags. I
mean, it's not one incident, but yeah,
it was a couple. But yeah, 2 train conductors. One guy got like slashed in the face. Like in his neck, and then somebody else got it. I think they're threatening a strike, so I think they're trying to like do this in order to try to prevent a strike from the
perpetrators who did.
I think one didn't get caught yet, and then the other one they some sort of repeat offender. The way things go.
It's not one of your new Venezuelan migrants like the ones that beat up that cop.
Okay, so I want to say something about this.
Is this even America? I was told this is live from America.
This National Guard thing. It's the state. What is this? It's the National Guard or the state troopers? What are they?
It's both. They're bringing in National Guard, and they're bringing like 250 state troopers.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what's sad about it. We got cut off, so we're talking a little bit about it off the air. But in a one-party state like New York, none of us it doesn't even occur to any of us that the reason they're doing this is because they really want to protect the public from crime. We all assume, well, if New York government is getting serious about crime, there must be some political reason. And
they're also saying crime is down.
Boris speculated that
reporting. You're correct in your feelings. Your feelings are correct.
So guys, let's wait. Let's have Noam finish his point first, and then we go. So we don't.
There's also congestion pricing that they're trying to ram down everybody's neck, and the theory of congestion pricing is everybody should take the subway. So it really does look bad to say we're going to force you to take the subway. And by the way, there's people getting killed on the subway. Oh, we better stop that crime now, otherwise this could upend congestion pricing. But it's just terrible that we can't imagine that this is actually because the people in charge protecting us are getting serious about protecting us, and I don't believe that's the case. They've never been worried about protecting us, except for like Giuliani and Bloomberg. No 2 leaders in my whole entire lifetime have ever seemed to care about protecting New Yorkers from crime.
Well, also I feel like a lot of the crime patterns in New York kind of mimic national crime patterns also. Like when crime's gone up nationally, crime in New York goes up. Crime goes down nationally, crime in New York.
Guess what? You got a mass influx of undocumented migrants that are a big
Nationally.
problem. No, listen, no, that dude, that wheelchair guy shipped him to New York to say, which is hilarious, for all the dumb shit. What's wrong with immigrants? Boy, I know a wall wouldn't have. Jesus fucking Christ.
Speaking of immigrants, oh, here it is. Sorry.
Okay, look, a wall wouldn't have solved illegal immigration, but it would have slowed the spread, right? A safe, effective wall, it would have slowed the spread. Boy, that's one. I remember being in New York and the amazing wisdom of how could a wall possibly help in any way, you idiot. I'm sure some people must be walking that back right now, right? I am. Looking back now,
Biden walked
it seems
it back.
obvious that would have helped.
Biden walked it back because he started building some of the wall again.
Yeah, well, now he's, I don't know who the fuck works him like a
somebody
puppet, but
also processing people outside the country, just a common sense basis. It's like, why would, if I have to keep people, I want to keep drunks out of the comedy cellar. So I'm going to use a breathalyzer. Let's bring them all inside and breathalyze them. And then we'll start throwing.
Yeah, do you know why they're doing it? Wait, do you know why they're doing it? It's not a secret. It was on C-SPAN. We played the clip. Dick Durbin explained it really well. The recruiting numbers they're not meeting their recruiting numbers. It turns out all your fat, queer, pink-haired kids can't make the physical fitness cut. So they're bringing in military-age men from Syria, China, all the countries we kind of, fuck with, that might have a grudge. We're just bringing in military-age men from there.
Okay, but Kurt. I mean, I part company with that stuff. I want to ask you a question. Are you under the impression that these migrants are committing a lot of crimes? I don't know that's true or not.
Okay. Let's say we get real lucky and the people they track you everywhere you go. They're not tracking these people. Okay. Now, I'm sure you could conceive of a plan in which, let's say, Syria or China or anyone that has or Venezuela, who we fucked their shit the fuck up. They didn't want to leave Venezuela. We fucked it up. You don't think any of those countries might get in their heads to take, let's say 12 Syrian guys, and they all have the same henna tattoo of a cross because they're Christian. That's a real thing, by the way. I didn't make that up. That's what's coming in, and it's all these NGOs paying for it. People always go, ooh, Soros, but that's not the guy. That's a guy for you to get mad about, but that's not who does it. America, like every fucking
I think any criticism of George Soros is anti-Semitism, Kurt.
That guy hates Jews. That guy used to collect he used to go price Jew shit for the Nazis during the Holocaust when he was 15. He'd go and pick out who had nice shit.
He was younger than 15, but old enough.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm not going to hold against him when we, our great Western, Canada applauded a Nazi in their fucking House of Commons. The funniest thing I've ever fucking seen happen in Canada. And the guy, he was trying to hold back. He went like this, but you knew he was trying to go like a little. Yaroslav Hunka. And he goes, Canada's always been on the bright side of history.
Wait. Wait, Kurt, I have a question for you.
Yeah. Come on.
So maybe I couldn't find. So Rebecca Trent, our friend who owns a comedy club in Austin now, right? Creek in the Cave. She posted something about some comedian who tried to use a swastika on stage. Did you see this?
Was he Indian? No, was he Indian? Because that's hilarious.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
No. He's not Indian. He's a white guy.
Okay.
So using pretty sure.
And people are freaking out, but I'm like, I just want to say, first of all, this whole notion that people can't see a swastika. I just want to remind everybody, Hogan's Heroes came out and played the Holocaust survivors. Okay, Mel Brooks did the producers in the '60s, or maybe it's such a new thing that we assume that nobody can look at something.
You mean the symbol of the entire world for some reason? It's actually bizarre how many cultures around the world had a swastika. So
no, that's inverted. That's inverted. It's mirror image.
They all go both ways. I thought that too, but they go both ways depending where you're at. Kind of like
whatever it is. But even if everybody's like, it reminds me of this thing about the N-word. We just like the word snowflake does come to mind. Now we're all supposed to assume that it's perfectly normal that people will just collapse at the notion that
who made that word? I've never heard people say that word. I saw people online like, oh, I thought you're snowflake. I never called. You think I would have called a fucking wokey, a cancel pig, a snowflake. Snowflakes are unique. They're not a fucking blob of shit. So no, they're not snowflakes. The media put that out. Like that's their dismissal.
So anyway, anyway, Jews who were who were alive during the Holocaust, who survived the Holocaust, were perfectly able to laugh at Nazi send-ups that had swastikas in them. So unless the comedian was actually doing some pro-Nazi material,
he asked them to salute it. What's the problem?
Or maybe that could be funny too. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I mean,
I'll tell you, autism. It's called autism. Seth Simons, all of Seattle, all the woke in that. It's called.
Who is the comedian? We should get him in the show.
He definitely also probably has autism.
I bet you don't want him. I'll bet you don't want him on the show.
I think it's like an open micer.
Listen,
kind of guy.
Austin has 40 open micers. No, the Austin.
It was the Indian guy. Who was the Indian guy that uses a swastika?
Wait, an Indian guy can use a swastika? That was theirs before the fucking Nazis.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He reappropriated.
Dude, an Indian can't use a swastika. Do you know what a stupid country this is on every level? This is
no, Kurt.
We used to be the great Satans. We were great.
But I think he was using it, as I understood whatever he was doing, he was using it as a swastika, not as a symbol of Buddhist peace or Hindu, whatever it is. But I think he was actually using it as a swastika.
They're racist over there. It's their heritage. Indians are racist. You know that?
I can't. My wife's Indian.
So even Gandhi was racist.
Your wife, she ain't that kind of Indian. She ain't no extra credit Indian.
Let's move to the next one. Since you said, Kurt, we used to be great. Trump is back. Trump Biden again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great, and I'm sure it'll matter in a huge amount which one you pick. I'm sure democracy, our amazing democracy, might go away depending on who you pick. The guy who talks into an ice cream cone like a microphone. Yeah.
I said that Trump is gonna win, and everybody said no, they're not gonna get in the Republican nomination, and he did.
They're going to have a civil war or kill. They're going to make sure there's some kind of war internally. It's probably what a lot of the flush of migrants is for. Before they allow that, I had no idea. I used to not understand, because you know what the real crime of Trump is, right? You ever see Django, the Quentin Tarantino one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so remember when Jamie Foxx comes in on a horse, and the whole town's like, "Oh, an N-word on a horse!" Oh, and they're all freaking the fuck out. He's that. He was there. He was placed there so that you would have to vote for Hillary. I'm not making it up. It's in her leaked emails. Maybe you were nice and didn't read them, but I did. And it was called Pied Piper strategy. And they put him there on purpose. They wanted him to win. Hillary, which was so hilarious about what a failure it was. And then it got away from them because he did win. He did fucking win. And so basically America voted for Hamas that day. That's how they look at regular people. You voted for Hamas, and when you vote we offered you democracy of the right choice, which was this one party, but you chose the wrong party, the one that we, funded and propped up and gain a function, basically. And now we know you're animals. And that's what they did. So that's why people are so mad now. That's why, like, Shane coming back is such a big deal, because Shane he looks like a Mr. Potato Head before you put the eyes and lips and shit in. Like, he's the perfect, like, white guy to, be like, yeah,
isn't he, like, Trump and Biden a reflection to the people, or the people are a reflection to the Trump and
the people got nothing to do with it? I don't know why you think you do. You got nothing to do with it. You're not a big funder. You don't have a big dark money super PAC. The people that could be allowed, like, it really is amazing. Trump's like COVID that got out of their fucking lab.
I do have a lot of money. I just sent it to Qatar.
Well, it went to Hamas through Bibi Netanyahu. That's how he got Qatari agents to support Hamas. It was Bibi. Bibi did it.
No,
I want to look into this. I'm going to look into this Pied Piper strategy, but it's funny. It's what you're describing is such a shop-worn Hollywood script where two people plot to put somebody up who's a nimwit, or or the producers where they plot to put on a Broadway show that'll flop.
A good solid plan that works. A good solid plan that it stands the test of time. Yes, of course they make movies about that. Dude, online, I don't know, on YouTube when you put this up, the people that do, like, where all the agents of, like, influencers are in Vegas, the shit I would never come up with. Like, I didn't know in YouTube's in the comments, if you're real big, they have somebody who goes on and says shitty shit to you in the comments to rile up your fans. So they go, fuck you. And the algorithm looks at engagement. So they know every way to game it and do that. Like, dude, the technology of lying has advanced so far, like beyond what you just think of in your normal life. We're way past that now. So now I'm watching people, North Korea, when Kim Jong, the dad, not Il, at the end of his life, he had a big, Michael Malice, he had a big football-sized tumor on the back of his neck. And everybody were like, oh, it's his war injury. The whole country would say that's just his war injury. Okay, and now I'm watching, dude, the clips are hilarious. We're watching MSNBC, and they're like, well, Trump's really old, too. I know it's a big deal that Biden's old. First of all, nobody thinks the problem is age. I don't give a shit how old the president is. Can they fucking find their way off the stage? Like, that's crazy. And so they're sitting there making it, no, it's because of his age. No, he wasn't good when he was young. His brain has holes in it now, and you have to dutifully pretend. And why not? You pretend women have dicks, so why don't you do that? Right? Right? It's a
no.
Remember we hated the Muslims because you can't draw their profit, and you can't even say a woman doesn't have a dick here. Boy, I feel chagrined.
Chagrined?
Yeah, my face is red. I'm glad Osama bin Laden didn't live to see this day. I'm glad he deserved better. He deserved better than us.
Of the rematch of Biden Trump. Noam and then Boris.
What's the question? What do I think of a rematch between Trump and Biden?
Rematch of and also Trump saying he wants to debate Biden anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
Well, I think that they have to debate. I mean, Biden is not going to be able to get away without debating at a time when his ability to debate is the number one issue in the country.
I bet you he will. I bet you he will. Because right now, if you're still clinging to the idea that Biden's brain works and he's in charge, if you are still clinging to that, it means you never look at him or watch him on purpose because you don't want Dottie Sandusky. You don't go down the basement. Dottie stays up and washes dishes while Jerry brings the boys freedom. You don't go. That's not for you to look at. And so the last of the people, and I'll tell you who these people are. They got COVID masks on still. Okay.
I have a COVID mask on.
Well, you got a baboon heart, dude.
No,
I think that they will have to debate.
No, I'm with you. I think they should have to have a roast battle just as much as you do. I think the roast battles decides a lot of it for a lot of people. The presidential roast battle.
I think that there is still a chance that something that will impose itself, that Biden will, in one way or another, not be the nominee. I don't think it's more than 50% chance, but I think it's a 25% chance.
You know why?
I could see Hillary trying to jump back in there.
Really?
Put it this way.
She should. That'd be hilarious.
It would.
Listen. We don't really know to the extent that he's unable to do the job. We definitely see he's in some kind of decline, but he could still be.
Yeah. Eggs are $14.
Hold on. I spoke to an insider who knows Israel stuff, who told me that the Israeli leaders were quite impressed, I guess is the word. They felt that Biden was with it and in command of sufficient details to handle the situation.
Well, your friend's a liar that works for Mossad, because there's no fucking way that those Jews are not smart enough to know he's a retard. It's based on what he'll let them do.
It doesn't really help also to just be like, we're so impressed he can still like maintain reality. Like that's how it keeps being
Let me just finish my point. Let me just finish my thought. If in reality he's not up to the job and he's behind in the polls, I believe come convention time, the people close to him and the party and the influential people in the party and the journalists will all converge to pressure him to step down. If he is up to the job, then barely, but if he's up to the job, then I don't think that'll happen. But if what you're saying is actually true, I think come the convention time, people will get serious. What they don't want is a free-for-all, but what they want is a controlled demolition. So if he's the nominee, in the back room, they'll decide who to hand the nomination off to as if he died, you know? And I think that's what'll happen. But we'll see.
You're saying wait, you're
no.
saying after, right?
Hold on, hold on, Kurt. I have
we already
something.
know they're
When
waiting.
you said, hold on a second. When you said the back room, you remind me of, did you see the Manchurian Candidate when Meryl Streep was in the back room deciding who the vice president is? But no, let me ask you this.
Victoria Newland.
Yeah, no, let me ask you this. If the convention comes and they said, okay, he is not, we don't want him to be the nominee. So what if 2 or 3 people wants to do it? Like, do they have to do primary
He's
again?
gonna be, I'll tell you what's gonna happen. I already know. We already know what's gonna happen because James O'Keefe undercovered a fucking thing. They want him out now, but they're painted into a corner. They have to sit there and pretend that he's not seen. I don't know why any of you, do you not watch clips of him? It's crazy. It's
I
not
don't trust anybody's last name is O'Keefe, but anyway.
The guy from Project Veritas.
I'm just joking.
Anyway, the guy explained it. Let me tell you something. Gay assistants, and there's like, I guess too many of them working, they don't keep their trap shut like they used to back in the, commie purge days. They run their fucking Instagram yaps and fucking the Capitol and shit. So this guy who's trying to get laid, James gets like a hot guy to take these high-level homo CEOs out, and they want to get laid. And the guy from Pfizer, he goes, I'm trying to get laid. They say the most evil shit to get laid. So he goes, yeah, no, we're back in the corner. Like, he's awful. But Kamala is the fucking runner-up. Who the fuck would vote for her? What kind of an idiot would vote for Kamala? But what are they going to do? Not have a woman of color? So because they're trapped, they're hoisted by their own petard with that bullshit. So they're going to wait.
Boris, what do
He's
you
going to
think?
get nominated, and then someone else is going to come in.
Boris, what are your thoughts? Let's go with Boris. I want to see Trump, Biden. You think it's going to be that's a final rematch or no?
I will say I've seen clips where Biden holds it together for a few minutes here and there.
Oh, that's good.
Well, they'll hop him up on drugs for a debate.
George W. Bush was retarded, and we all said it. You're like, I've seen clips where he held it together. The leader of the free world.
He dodged that shoe pretty good.
I
don't know if either could dodge a shoe.
I thought the same thing when George W. He like Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah.
And by the way, he was
2 of them.
I mean, he wasn't as good a president as Saddam Hussein of Iraq, but he was better than ISIS, who came in after.
All right, let me ask you another question. And I think Noam is settled at that table. The uncommitted, do you guys, Noam, let's go with Noam first. You can't talk? Okay. Well, he is uncommitted.
You know that guy? Why does he keep having him for Biden, the uncommitted? You talking about Dearborn, Michigan? They have a problem with what's going on in Gaza. Oh, I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened there. I wonder why they're upset. How could they vote for Trump? He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
why would they vote for him over the guy who just betrayed them and pretended to care about their thing? I don't know.
But we're going to talk about Gaza at the end. But no, I'm the uncommitted. What do you think? Is that a serious problem? Are they trying to send a message for Biden or not really? Whatever. Looks like Noam is uncommitted. Boris, do you want to go?
Thinking. Yeah, I don't think it's a serious thing. It's like those local council votes for ceasefire. I don't understand what it's.
I mean, there's 100,000 in Michigan alone.
Yeah, but it's the primaries. Like, what is it?
Dude,
what's that going to do?
Are you forgetting about Lahaina? Are you forgetting about the traditionally Democratic areas that he fucked? So Lahaina, remember all those thousands of missing kids from that fire? Now, I don't know if they found them or Oprah finally found them.
Wait, what missing kids from what fire?
The Lahaina fires in Hawaii, a very blue.
Oh, right.
Did you watch Biden go to Lahaina and give them people $700 they didn't even fucking get and then leave and give more money to Ukraine? So bye-bye, Democrats. Do you not notice all the people the Democrats fucked in the ass and they have the nerve to go, you should be afraid of Trump. If I'm fucked either way, bitch, what do I care how you feel? Maybe you should feel uncomfortable like me. You don't need a real small, you don't need a fancy degree to know what's going on.
Kurt, did you decide who you're going to vote for if you're going to vote?
You think I vote like a fucking child? No, I don't watch pro wrestling. I'm not, do you still think that you have a real country with a democracy? Is everybody out of their goddamn mind? We lost that after 9/11. There's no more habeas corpus. I don't know why people are casual about that, but it's, dude, do you know anybody that brought up Alexei Navalny to you, like a twit? Like how they used to talk about the Dalai Lama before he sucked on that kid's tongue? And now they go, now Bono, if you're like Bono consciousness, you're like Alexei Navalny. Julian Assange is, he's charged with? He's going to be killed by our fucking or by our intelligence community. You know, he's charged with nothing. England's holding him in their worst prison because they're over, like, we don't know if we have to extradite him or not. And it's on purpose to kill him. Why? For lying about us? No. For showing actual crimes America did. So I don't want to hear about Alexei Navalny or any of that fucking shit. This is a sham country that you lost a long time ago, before you were born, probably. I don't know. You really think, here's the only thing Trump, here's the hope of Trump. There's one thing. He's such a chaos bomb. And when I say chaos bomb, he's only going to do like 93% of what the maniacs that control shit want him to do. And to them, that's chaos because they want a return on their investment. Like when he goes, we're Venezuela, they're about to collapse, we're going to get the oil and take the oil. You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to go freedom. So that's why he's bad, because he randomly spouts the truth like he doesn't give a shit. That's it. But
you're very optimistic. I like that, Kurt.
No, I am. It's collapsing in front of your face. You don't see it? It's going to be like the Soviet Union. Michael Malice's white pill theory, I agree with. Under its own weight.
I will say, I think the one thing that separates us is we got a fuckload of guns. And I do think that's something.
Yes, sir. That means no more lockdowns, because now that, dude, if people in New York understand, I remember after 9/11, I was there for that. There was a blackout and it was like a big party where everybody was cool, the whole city. And in the 70s, it was like all rapes and riots. But everybody was so together that we're going to blow up these fucking, Hatem's right here, but you know what I'm saying. And we united. And so for New York, and I remember that vividly, like, where it's like, oh, it's pretty cool, man. New York's crazy, but like, that was a thing we all like got behind, you know. Hillary was hugging George W. Bush and all that shit. So now, from that amount of trust, which, by the way, we should not have had at the time, should ask a lot more questions about that thing. Now, if Noam's noticing it, a guy who is no way a radical, and you're noticing it, it's real bad. Like, that means their plans have fallen apart. All that 2030 climate bullshit. By the way, Jehovah's Witnesses predicted the end of the world, 1977. Didn't happen. Embarrassing. Okay. So that's one time I can think of. In 20 years, how many times has the world been about to end from climate change? I can think of 5. 5 times I was genuinely frightened because the coral reef was disappearing and whatever. And that's worse than a doomsday cult prediction accuracy. Does anybody
I want to ask you this, because you always say before that you think the president have a little to do with the general policy and stuff like that. Do you feel if Trump won, it's the same thing here? What's your thought on that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So first of all, I have this all the time. People tell me what I say, and I realize they don't that I didn't make myself clear. That's a nice way of saying something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
I never said that the president doesn't set the policies. What I said was I don't think the policies matter all that much. In retrospect, taxes go up, they go down.
They just make the money up anyway.
I think the country is really more of a product of the ingenuity of its 350 million people. And so I just, I'm very zen about what'll happen. So I mean, the policies matter to some extent, especially if they're extreme policy. But look at how everybody predicted the end of the world with Obamacare. Look how people predict the end of the world with tax cuts. They predict the end of the world with tax increases.
Don't forget net neutrality.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I still don't know what it is or how it affected me. I still can't understand what the fuck it is.
So you're saying that it's you're not very you don't think it's going to be a big difference between Biden and Trump if they won, or no?
I think policy wise, I would probably support Trump's policies more than Biden's policies. But I think that if America,
foreign or domestic policies, or both?
Maybe both, but domestic for sure. Foreign, I don't know.
Foreign policies aren't that different,
right? But if
what do you mean?
There's
What's that mean?
Foreign policy wise,
it's not that different.
Like Biden continued with a lot of China hawk stuff that Trump started. A lot of the border stuff now, the Democrats are starting to try to turn their tide as best as they can to prevent a very obvious disaster. It just seems like it's not that big of a difference at this point. It's more of a rhetorical difference.
Yeah, no, they got nothing. They only
Biden
got.
is like, declaring himself a Zionist. Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. There's not like,
Well, dude, even if RFK, the three of them, I saw what it's like in that. There's like their three numbers. I was like, wow, three choices, but we all know they're all gonna have the same policy about.
By the way,
Israel, no matter what.
everyone says RFK is like taking money from AIPAC or whatever, but also a Palestinian killed his dad.
Weirder.
So that's
Dude,
probably
no.
got
You don't think that guy
it.
did it? It's way weirder than that. He spent time on a kibbutz with Roger Ailes. They lived in a tent together. I
The
swear to
guy
God.
killed RFK's dad, Robert Kennedy.
No, Roger Ailes, the founder of Fox News.
The guy, but the guy who killed Robert Kennedy.
No, I know. Robert don't think he did it, and I don't think he did either. I think it was the Cuban CIA.
So let me
guy.
ask you this,
Shot him.
another question
That's what I
another
think.
way. Let me ask you another way. If Trump was the president the last 4 years, would things been handled like in, like, say, Ukraine and Gaza, the exact same thing? Would we have the exact same 160 days going of war? Ukraine, the same
It'd
thing
be
would have been?
slightly better, just slightly better. And the only reason it would be better, slightly, not
Okay.
a lot. Trump did a
What
lot
do
of
you mean
war
by
crimes
better?
too.
Yeah.
But Trump doesn't understand like the thing of, so we could have the Ukraine thing could have been settled peacefully. Boris Johnson went and purposely said, don't do it. Trump, who was like, fuck NATO, they don't pay their rent. Why do we even have NATO? Which is a great question. Okay. But we're having Ukraine die for us to protect NATO. So let me get this straight. If we don't keep this going and just waste money, they're not winning. They lost. I said this how long ago? I knew people who bothered to look into it could have told you this right away with no expertise, but they're losing real bad now. They're trying to give them more 60 billion. Victoria Nuland resigned. That's who you should pay attention to. Is people like
What
that
about
bitch.
Gaza? If Trump was in charge, and then we go with Noam and then Boris.
Bibi Netanyahu, I don't think would push around Trump. Trump's gung-ho Israel, but Bibi, I don't know why he's always working whenever a 9/11 happens, but I'd like it looked into. Anyway,
No, what do you
Trump
think? Same
doesn't get
question.
pushed around. Biden was a sock puppet as a man whose brain worked. I've
right, hold
watched
on. No,
endless
no.
clips of him talking about it. He goes, I
No,
tried to whore
stop.
myself, but they wouldn't let me.
Noam and then Boris. If Trump was in charge the last 4 years, would things been different in Ukraine and Gaza or no?
I don't know. There's a question of whether or not they would have. I mean, there's a lot of questions there. There's a question of whether or not, if Trump had not been accused of this Russiagate stuff, if he had been freer to reset the Russian relationship as he wanted to, would that have avoided Ukraine? Number one. Number two, I've heard smart people tell me that's a dumb thing to say, but I wonder about that. Number two is how he would handle. Would Putin have had the nerve to invade Ukraine while Trump was president? People are scared. Would he have stood up for Ukraine? I mean, he actually stood up for Ukraine more than Obama did, which is one of the reasons this whole coup thing is hard for me to swallow, because if Victoria Nuland and the Obama administration engineered the coup in Ukraine, then why didn't they support Ukraine?
Wait,
But
not
anyway.
Obama. Wait, Obama. Hold on. No, Obama. This is, what the deep state is, right? It's the pigs in the State Department and the Council on Foreign Relations. This David Frum should be gone. He should be deported to Canada. That motherfucker's still on Bill Maher, the guy that wrote a book. He coined Axis of Evil and wrote a book about how Saddam helped Al Qaeda. That piece of shit, they're still there. No, it's not
Fred,
just
do you know
Obama.
what the deep
Obama didn't do all the things they wanted. He did a lot of evil fucking shit, but not all of it. That's the deep state. That's who those people are. That's the
Fred,
neocons.
do you know the deep state in the olive tree, the comedy cellar? It's the kitchen.
I don't believe that for 2 seconds. Not for 2 seconds.
But anyway, on the whole, considering how dicey both these issues have been, Ukraine and Israel, and need to be handled carefully and circumspect, I don't wish that Trump had been president handling these things, because he's too enamored with his own gut, and he shoots from the hip, and he thinks, and who could blame him, because everything he does has worked out so far. But
So wait,
I'm
is
more
the
comfortable.
intellect, that's the spot where we pretend that men are women, in the intellect. That's where we ignore our gut, right? And we're obligated to. The thing, just think about how fucking crazy a place you live in. that you probably feel edgy. I even fucking said that, don't you? I do. It's a big risk. Do you understand how crazy it's got? If you don't believe in UFOs, I say, hey, we didn't know women had dicks until what, 5 years ago? So anything is possible.
Well, I found out 10 years ago, but okay.
The hard way.
Me too.
You found
Hey,
out the
we
hard
all
way.
did. We all
Nothing on
found
that
out. Yeah, it was no big deal. It was no big deal. We all found out.
All right, hold on, because I want to hear Noam's thought and then Boris about that.
I'm
go
done.
ahead.
I'm done.
You done with this? Boris, what do you think?
I think in some ways they'd be better in some ways. Where I don't know the size of the effect, but like Iran would probably still have a bunch of cash frozen under Trump. I don't know what the trickle down effect of that in terms of funding Hamas and things like that. Ukraine.
They didn't do that. That was Bibi. You know that, right? It wasn't Iran.
I mean, they existed before Bibi. Bibi had his political motivation. Like, I think two things can be true at once. Hamas existed prior, they existed in Egypt, essentially.
Right. Bibi in Egypt. Nobody likes these people in Gaza. Everybody, that's why it's like we could kind of exterminate them. Because nobody likes
they
them.
did. They kicked in Jordan and Lebanon.
Iran
and
doesn't want extra trouble. Okay, there's the problem. All their populations, they stoke them up with this, kind of upsetting story if you look at it.
Yeah, they're pawns.
We stoke them up.
So
but they're our puppets. The Middle East are our puppets. So
specifically about Gaza and Ukraine, you think Trump would have been better or not?
I do think at least early on, the one thing I'll say that's understated is the fact that Ukraine and Israel have their own agendas, and I don't think the U.S. determines what they do. Like, Israel would be doing what the fuck Israel does. Like, the idea that Biden can easily pull like a ceasefire button or whatever, to me is a little bit silly. I think
obviously not.
Yeah, and also like Bibi wasn't that cool with Trump either.
That's right.
Trump was pretty salty about it, in fact.
That's right. That's what would be better. He wouldn't listen to that psychopath Bibi like that. That's all.
Well, again, regardless, Israel might do what Israel does, and Ukraine also has its own sovereignty. I'm not really on board fully.
No,
with
it does not.
I'm not on board.
It was a
fully.
coup. We've been trying to.
I don't fully buy that. As I know, people
look into it a little bit more because I don't want to know what I know. I don't want to know the truth about it.
I mean, was it more? But was U.S. support there more than Putin's support of Yanukovych? Like, was that fully just a democratic process?
That's not even how it went. That wasn't even how it was.
Well, he literally reneged on a referendum to join the European
Union. Wait, why are you interrupting when I'm explaining?
Let me ask you this. Who would have been, just a start question, who would have been the best president in the history just to deal with this whole thing?
So you want to ask a retarded question instead of answering his question is what you're saying right now.
What's his question?
Who would have been the best president in history? I would say Superman, the man from Krypton. He's fair. He's all powerful. Who gives a shit about that? Do you want to know what happened in Ukraine? We have been it's called, I'm quoting the guy from Rand. It's not top secret. You could look at all these videos. Nobody does because it's boring shit of nerds. But our primordial fear of our empire is that the manufacturing power of Germany will unite with the manpower of Russia. All the psychopaths, like your Victoria Nulands and her shitbag husband, Neil, all of them have mapped out a bucket list of all the countries we're going to regime change. I didn't listen 20 years ago, but it's coming to pass now. Okay? We have helped nowhere. We've been a piece of shit every single fucking place we went. I don't know if you're keeping track, but that's what's happened. Okay? Russia, Putin said, if you watch the Tucker interview, which was very interesting, he wanted to join NATO. And Clinton said yes. And he came back and said, no, you can't. Why? And he goes, why do you think so? He goes, because Russia's kind of were big as a country.
Why would that make any sense? Isn't the whole point of NATO?
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. We're big as a country, and they want to break us up and balkanize us so that it's not like, and like they did to us and all of the European countries, and they did it to us on a molecular. Dude, what do you think? BLM and all that bullshit that just was a con. That's identity politics. Rich kids learn this in school, divide and conquer, which is known since Roman times. They read Hobbes' Leviathan. I didn't even know what the fuck that was until like a year ago. That's what successful people learn. So the whole point is break them up into controllable. That's how you run a fucking prison. So they want Russia broken up. That was the big goal after the Soviet Union fell. Do you think NATO is going to stop making money? Their only purpose was the Soviet Union. So how do we stay in business?
With the U.S. goal, you're saying, was to break it up?
NATO. U.S. is a shell company of a larger entity. You're not, people think America is like the puppet mat. No, we're the dumb fucking muscle. You got to think in corporate terms because that's what runs the Western world. So watch the WEF presentations. It's hilarious because they openly say this crazy shit and it's falling apart, and then they freak out and have to do a new like TED talk. Like, how do we rebuild trust in our insane thing? And the only reason they go forward with things that are fake is because the same reason we do a war that's fake. Once the machinery gets going, it's hard to like turn it. There's a lot of economy there. So all those windmills that kill fucking whales commit suicide because of the sound of the windmills tearing so far underwater. Michael Moore did a documentary about how green energy wasn't going to save us. Why is it going to save us? Because the goal is we're going to make money on this. And if we're making a lot of money on this and it doesn't work, you think we're going to stop doing this? No, we're not. That's so I don't look, I say either say you're a gangster or pretend you're fucking democracy, but you can't say both. Okay, that's my whole philosophy. We caused that problem in Ukraine. The Nazis that we armed, just like Al Qaeda back in the day, maybe you saw Rambo 3, they were shelling the Donbass. They were violating the Minsk agreement. Germany openly said it. We were violating that. We were just buying time so we could attack Russia. I know Putin's so evil, but if you keep striking first, it looks like you're the one that's evil. I don't know what agreement you said he broke, but it's fucking bullshit. Banderites, not Ukrainians aren't all Nazis. The people that love Bandera, a fucking Nazi. That's a thing, a collective West thing to build that up. And they have good grain and fucking whatever. We wanted to blow up that pipeline. The pipeline we blew up? Remember we blew up that pipeline and said Russia did it? Does that make sense to you on any level? They blew up their own pipeline.
No, who's the guest next to you? It looks like one of my people. Noam, who's the guy next to you? Is one of my people?
Hello?
Is he one? Are you one of my people? Salam alaikum.
Who is it?
I'm a Persian Jew, so. No,
he's not one of your people.
No one is perfect. It's okay. Put the phone down so we can see you.
Drive him into the sea.
He's one of the non-white Jews in Israel that don't exist.
Are you saying we are indigenous? All right, I had enough of this. I got to go.
Yeah, we're gonna end now. Last question is like, do you think it's gonna be?
Kurt has completely red pilled me. I hate my country. I hate the world, and thank God the Jews are in charge. That's all I'll say.
Look, they're not, dude. That's the sad thing. That's like Soros. It's a convenient.
Do you think it's gonna happen? We're gonna have ceasefire before Ramadan. It's 1 week.
They're going to kill their own hostages like they have been. No, they're going to kill their own hostages. Bibi has to finish this up, which they're not going to defeat Hamas. The IDF isn't good at it. I don't know if you know that. I thought they were. They're not.
Well, it's not Bibi. It's a whole government together putting it. It's not just Bibi. But go ahead, Noam.
Can I say a word? First of all, I can't game out. Maybe somebody can. How Hamas can possibly release the hostages? It's all they have. And that's why the reports where they say we're not going to release the hostages unless Israel withdraws from Gaza, that makes sense from their point of view. It's not going to happen. Israel will not end this war with Hamas still in charge. They might release a few hostages for a few days of peace, but they're not going. Why would Hamas give up the hostages? What Hamas is hoping to do, and they said this in an interview a few days ago, they feel that the martyrs, quote unquote martyrs that they're producing, which means their own people getting killed, is working for them and is bringing pressure to bear on Israel. And that's their only strategy. They don't have a military strategy. Their strategy is to have their own people die, and they're good at accomplishing that. And so why would they give up the hostages? And we don't even know if the hostages are alive, but even presuming they are alive,
they are.
What would Hamas? Kurt knows they're alive. I hope they're not making them listen to Kurt. That'd be terrible torture. I'm kidding. But what? I'm sorry. What would Hamas gain by giving up the hostages?
Is there any current information that's even remotely reliable in terms of like how much of Hamas is left?
Wait, guys, answer my question. What would Hamas gain by giving up the hostages?
Well, their hostages was initially the reason that they took hostages.
They don't have hostages.
They're not a fair police force. They take kids off the fucking street. I watch it. They take kids off the street who didn't do anything. They lock them up.
Hold on, Kurt. I just want to add one thing.
Let's not get sidetracked by that. My point is this: they're in a war. The only leverage they have over Israel is the hostages. Once they give that up, they have zero leverage, right? So why would they give them up?
I agree with you. I don't understand how they would do that.
Is there, well, here, I'll play devil's advocate. Is there some sentiment of public pressure that's possible where the people of Gaza eventually hit a breaking point where they want them to give them up to end the war? Is there any
I don't think the people of
semblance-
Gaza know where they are. That's how do you say that?
Not finding them specifically. I mean, putting pressure on Hamas theoretically.
How would they do that? How would they do that?
No, they
Just
cannot.
start fucking fighting.
These people cannot. Hold on. These people cannot put pressure.
There's
on
already
Hamas.
factions fighting there, right? There, it's not Hamas isn't one thing. We talked about this, Hatem, right? There's factions fighting within Gaza.
Okay, Bibi
Yes,
they'll give up Bibi before the Bibi will be the one to crack first, is my prediction, because somebody at the top is sick of him. So it'll be him first, because he was about on his way out anyway, because he's a corrupt sack of shit.
But he's got a coalition war government
Yeah,
now,
it's
right?
a coalition. It's not one person.
Kurt, you have to understand, Israel is not going to end this war with Hamas still in charge, still able to send rockets into Israel. Israel's not. That's not going to happen. They will
They'll
never
still pay
again,
them though.
Israel will never
They'll still
again
pay for it to
depend
be
on
there.
Israel will never again depend on the theory of deterrence to protect themselves. That's not going to happen. Whether it's not a value judgment, it's just not going to happen. If United States cut off all aid from Israel, Israel would still not discontinue this war. That's just the reality.
Yeah,
And just
I understand how racism
Kurt,
works.
hold on one second. I just want to add one point. Hamas, you said Hamas would not release the hostages because obviously it's the only chip that they have in the game, which makes sense. And their strategy working, which is more civilians dying for their thing. But this is also my argument point. Israel knows that. Why would you continue in killing civilians? I don't know.
They're not continuing to kill
Hamas.
civilians. They're not continuing to kill civilians. Civilians are continuing to be killed, like in every war in the history of war. Israel's continuing to pursue the objective that you may not
America's
like.
guilty of that as well. America's also satanic. Don't get me wrong.
It is absurd to think that in any country, just imagine we're in Manhattan and Queens is sending rockets into Manhattan and killing people and raping people. There's no democratic government is going to tolerate its leadership allowing that to remain.
So we would starve the whole population? We would starve the whole population? No, we wouldn't.
Hold on one second. Their ability to do that.
Hatem, you got to get realistic. There is no way that this is going. Israel is going to. And by the way, after they're finished with Hamas, I don't see how they can not go into Lebanon. This is not. This is.
They literally could not beat them.
Changed.
They can't beat them. They can't beat.
The point is like right now, the capability. Hold on, Kurt. The capability of Hamas in Gaza right now is done. They cannot fire missiles. They cannot do anything.
No, they have. Israel has to control who's in charge of Gaza, directly or indirectly, so that there can never be another tunnel built, never be another rocket, never. They have Israel has something like 100,000 internal refugees now. People cannot go back to their homes. Whole towns are cleared out because the government can't keep them safe. So imagine imagine you close off all of Lower Manhattan. Everybody in Lower Manhattan just leaves their homes and the government says, well, we're not going to take care of those people in Queens for you. You're just going to have to stay out of your homes forever. This is so unrealistic. You guys are not it's not a value judgment. It's like grow up.
I don't disagree with what Noam's saying. I agree with what Noam's saying, by the way.
But hold on. It's the exact same thing happening also in Gaza. Millions of people are out.
One more thing.
What?
Israel is not living in 2024.
They're
living in 1944.
Yeah.
That is their mentality. They are going to do what they need to do, just like we did what we needed to do when we got attacked at Pearl Harbor. We lost a pretty similar number of people as Israel did, except we weren't 1/10 as threatened. And we got attacked in Pearl Harbor, and we were not going to stop until that was done. Israel is not going to stop until it's done. Maybe you think we shouldn't have retaliated in Pearl Harbor. Maybe you think that's beside the point.
I think the extra atomic bomb was a bit much.
If democracy and its citizens are not going to tolerate its leadership allowing this threat to mushroom back up again. It's done. Israel is going to stop it.
How about the citizens and the government of the other side, the Palestinian people, not Hamas, the Palestinian people? Should they tolerate being this happening to them? And doing one thing that we did.
Should they tolerate being this happen to them is your question.
Hatem, this is what frustrates me. We're not talking about that. That is what the answer to your question is going to have zero impact on Israeli policy.
No, I agree. I know.
But you're not making a point.
Israeli
You're not
point of
making
view.
a point. Hatem, you're not making a point. You're just changing the subject.
I mean,
Let's go.
I do.
Keep it
You know
moving.
what? I'll
Keep
back
it
up.
moving.
I'm going to jump in for Hatem here. I do think that there's some, you know, that expression that people get the government they deserve. There's got to be some level of social uprising within that society that when they know what just happened on October 7th and they know that the results and everything that's happened since, there's got to be some ability for the social unrest to turn into pressure on Hamas internally. Is that?
Do you not know what happened on any of the things? You know that rapes didn't happen. You know that got debunked. You know the babies didn't get beheaded. That was fake. Remember all the fake things? That was.
I don't think rapes got debunked. The baby.
Oh, go
thing,
look it up. Anat Schwartz and her.
I gotta go.
Her nephew.
I gotta go. You guys can spread your nonsense.
No.
I gotta go. Bye.
It's in their fucking. They had to admit it. I follow news every day. This is mainstream. That's been debunked. It didn't happen. So you don't know what happened on October 7th. Here's what happened on October 7th. Most of the deaths were the IDF. Now, I thought it was a conspiracy because it took 7 hours to get, to the rave outside the concentration camp. So I thought it was on purpose because Bibi was about to be overthrown. No. The conscripts were shooting each other, so they'd rather have you be suspicious that they did it on purpose than let you know, so the IDF ain't what you thought. They're good at bombing. They're not. These are people maybe from Brooklyn, ton of people that are drafted. They don't have a right to self-defense, by the way, Israelis. They don't have a Second Amendment because they don't have a constitution. I didn't know that. Nobody told me they had
I think almost no one has a constitution except for like the U.S.
Quite a few Arab countries have a constitution. I looked it up because I couldn't believe it.
But Boris, to
you
your
know why
point
they don't have
about,
one? They were supposed to have one.
About your point about people uprising against Hamas right now. How you uprise against anybody? You don't have food. You can't eat. You cannot move. You cannot. How could you see everything that's happening right now and you don't say this is too much? I understand if Israel wanted to.
I was also not making a value judgment there.
I am. Look. You don't know what happened. I didn't know. Hatem, fucking dude, how many years ago when they did that siege on Gaza and you had a sheet of like, they won't let them have musical instruments. I remember this. And I was like, I don't want to really get into this at all because I thought it was like Trump's build a wall. I thought that's what they did. How Hillary said, they threw him the keys. They insisted, by the way, on this vote, and then they voted wrong, so they're bad, of course. So Hillary goes, they threw him the keys, and they built a concentration camp. They didn't build a wall.
Yeah, but just to clear about
wait. They count. Did you know this fucking detail that I didn't know for many years? They calculate the calories each person in the 2 million strong population of a 25-mile radius city, how much they would need to be like not starve but not fight them. With what I would call German precision. That's fucking crazy. So here's why they're not going to uprise against Hamas. Why would they go against the group that pulled off the most amazing escape from New York-esque prison break that they've ever seen? Their families get killed. It's called mowing the lawn. It's not my term. It's Israel's term. Noam said something very accurate. They're still in 1944. So here's where all my craziness from learning shit comes from. I would never believe an Arab. I told Hatem this over and over. I would never believe a Muslim or an Arab. First of all, Jews told me what was going on. Secondly, watch the Israelis on your news, on the good mainstream authoritative sources.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of psychos within Israel. I would
no, all of them
otherwise.
are saying. I thought, dude, this haunts me. Okay, on Jimmy Show, the story's coming up about Dresden. Okay, I know, if you read Slaughterhouse-5, it's a war crime. Deliberate targeting of civilians that America did, mostly England, but America did. I thought that was universally crime. So I thought the Israelis were going to go, how dare you compare this to a crime like that? We're defending ourselves. No, this bitch goes, Dresden, we got to do that. And it was like, woo. And I realized, no, dude, what Noam says is so dead on. They are in that mentality of 1944, which is called trauma-based mind control for the record. And so we've been woke for 10. So this is why I said October 7th killed woke. They're like embarrassing immigrant parents when they talk about what they're doing. Okay, so you're Sarah Silverman, like friends of mine that are liberal Jews who don't like religion or God, right? But meanwhile, the justification for Israel is like 3/4 Bible, so that's a little awkward. all of a sudden they're activated, like, oh my God, we're saying, oh, we got to fucking save Israel. So how do you, all you got to do is listen to Israelis talk about it. They're so much more honest than the dumb fucking retards that live in our country. And the news is bought. The news is, you can't trust.
I gotta go, but I want to get your take on one thing, which is that a lot of these like kibbutzes that lived on the border there, these were people that were not only like taking in workers on the regular, but they were also about to increase the number of workers coming into Israel, right? Is that not correct?
I don't know anything about that. What I do know is back in the day when Hatem showed me that paper, I didn't pay attention to shit like this at the time. Okay. They have the largest natural reserves of natural gas underneath Gaza. It actually belongs to the fucking Palestinians. And when they voted for Hamas and they locked them in that walled city, they took their fucking natural gas because our big plan, just so you know, all wars are about a pipeline or some grain shit. They're never about a thing of defense or anything like that. So you know how we blew up the pipeline up in Ukraine? We're going to have another pipeline that was going through there all the way up. That's why Syria is a problem, because they have their pipeline with Russia. It's all about that. The chump level is, oh, I should die for this and that. But look, the bottom line is the very racist idea that a Zionist and a Jew are the same, which they in Congress like passed a proclamation. Hitler came up with that. And so did Theodore Herzl. If I was with Karen, when I was with Karen, I could have converted and I could have gone to Brooklyn and claimed my fucking heritage.
I just want to say last thing before we go is this. Right now, right this second, 4 out of 5 of the most starving people in the world are in Gaza. 4, you know?
How could that be? Sudan's got like 25 million people on the verge of
Oh,
starvation.
I'll tell you how it could be, because very openly, it's not a secret, Israel said, this is, by the way, look,
I'm just saying pure numbers. There's like
I tell you why, Boris, because
of...
right now, if you want to send food to Sudan, it's going to get there. If you want to send food to Gaza, it's not going to get there.
Yeah,
that's
look,
the
those stats, Hatem, those stats, like I'm telling you, I would hear stats like that and not give a shit. Here's a story that we covered that I can't fucking believe. And again, not an expose, thing they're doing proudly. So UNRWA, the UN thing to feed these kids, because most of the, at least a huge number of kids are being killed and starved, and they're doing it openly, which is illegal. That's a war crime, okay? The local citizens around the border, so there's kids on one side. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Kids on one side, and the citizens set up a fucking fun day fair with cotton candy and fun foods kids like, so them starving fucking Arabs could look at it while they're starving. Wow, you guys get dark, huh? That's fucking dark. So yeah, it's a bunch of now look, maybe that has to be done. Every single argument I hear, and I've heard them all, they seem not that good, but okay, it's our best friend. Our best friend. I don't ever want to hear that Putin is bad ever again, because Putin did not starve Kiev. Putin is a fucking light touch compared to Israel.
Yeah, we have to go, but I want to say just 2 things, and then we'll end. One is right now, I think Israel is safe. They can't tolerate. So this needs to stop the killing of everybody, even if it's whatever they say, or like Noam was saying. This has got to stop. There's so many numbers that people die.
Dude, they're not. Look, it's all collapsing. Everything's collapsing. It's not safe. It is not safe. WWE is collapsing. At every level, the shit that was going on, and that's what's so great. All you have to do, you don't have to fight anybody or hurt anybody. You literally just don't have to be a punk when you fucking are like, wait, that's not reality. And just not be a punk for your career or whatever the fuck slavery that you live under. And in New York especially, rent's very high there. And I remember, like, it blows my mind, dude, when I think about things now looking back that I'm like, wait, why did I think that was? Because all my friends did and I was working. All you got to do is just be honest and not ever dress it up. So again, I don't single out Israel as bad. They're our little fucking guy, man. We're the devil. And I don't know what history you read. None of it's fucking good. And we're in a Ponzi scheme, and you can't taper it off.
And at this point, honestly, I don't care who is evil and who's not. I care about one thing: the people that are dying. This needs to stop. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The thing that's evil is not telling the truth, even if it doesn't help your side. That's evil. And not caring about the people we fucking murder, because we're beating Hitler's numbers by a lot since 1940. I don't know if you ever added it up, but it's a lot. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was awesome. Kurt, I think you're ready to convert to Islam very soon. Do you wanna share your thoughts where people can follow you? You have shows coming up. Are you coming to New
Don't
York
tell
soon, Kurt?
anyone I said these things. I need you to erase the whole last part of that. I would like to have a career in Hollywood, sir. Please do not. Please do not. Dude, it's not cool to starve kids. Battle of Albright, that interview. Before we even went to Iraq, we starved 500,000 kids. Later, they found out it was only about 250,000. Woof. With sanctions. That's terrorism. That's what we do all the time. It's fucking evil.
And when people say like, hey, we did this in Afghanistan or Iraq or that doesn't make it right that Israel doing it now because, we did it back then. That wrong doesn't make it wrong.
We did a 20-year devil sacrifice to fucking Molech. That's all we did.
Yes.
Don't worry about rich people eating babies in a fucking Bohemian Grove. They're doing it in front of your face on a mass Hitler level scale every day. And all you got to do is not notice it. That's all. You just gotta go, oh, hey, that's crazy. Why would we have to kill all the citizens of a country because we don't like their leader? That seems crazy. I never said it for 20 years. The only reason
I like that I like the Dave Smith video that he sent me about. That was a great argument. But we gotta go.
Yeah.
Boris, where people can follow you and if you have any shows coming up.
Yeah, at the Boris K, and then March 21st through 24th, I'll be at the Napa Valley Comedy Fest.
And then Williamstown very soon. Kurt, are you in New York soon?
I'm coming to do Gutfeld on the 28th. So I'm doing Rogan on the 25th, I think. So I'll come in early probably and then hang out in New York for a couple of days before Gutfeld.
Excellent. Well,
you don't get a lot of listeners, but I'm at Magoobies in the end of the month. And based on the George Hill structure,
we'll have some show for New York for you. And you can see.
Brother.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Great to see you.
Bye, man. Bye.
Good times. Peace, Kurt. Peace, Hatem.
Bye.